Hey Philip, welcome. Yeah, well, it's not a disaster yet, but it's really close to being one. So I'm gonna have to work out some stuff. I've got a couple of ideas. We'll see how well they play out. This is just one of those things also about honor mode, because, like I say, I did this exact thing in testing prior, and it worked fine. When duplicated here, it didn't. And something very unexpected happened with Aaron there, and if this is actually a glitch, I've seen more than a few honor mode runs end on glitches in the game. I've seen honor mode runs end when people get stuck in elevators and can't progress any farther. They can't reload a previous save to get off the elevator and everything else. So, I mean, if that's the case, I'm going to be, like I say, I'm going to be upset about it, but it is what it is. Hey Dave, welcome. Thanks for being here. And it really is a cliffhanger because I can't test anything off stream. I can't go play anything off stream. I've got to do it all live there in front of everybody. So yeah, we'll see. It depends on how I fail it. If I look into this more and find out that it's a glitch that did this, then what I will do is continue to live stream honor mode. I will just switch to my personal playthrough, which is almost at that exact same location. Well, which is at that same location. It's farther, a bit farther ahead. It's in the Blighted Village. Getting ready to deal with the windmill. But if it's a glitch, then I'll just change to that instead. But if it is something that I did and I can't rectify it, then I'll just continue on. This isn't a failure in the game, so I won't switch to custom mode, but it will just be I won't be able to do anything in the grove. If the grove becomes entirely hostile to me, if it already is entirely hostile to me, then yeah, I won't be able to do anything in the grove. Won't be able to continue any of the quest lines there, and I will have to continue on, and there won't be any tieflings and any of that sort of stuff. So it will be what it will be. But if I die, then yes, the intention is to continue in just as a custom mode playthrough. If it keeps legendary actions. If it doesn't keep legendary actions, then there's no point in continuing an honor mode playthrough, because then it's just tactician difficulty. Yeah, and I'm doing something. The game has a way for this to happen, for us to save Alfira. It's built into the game. If it wasn't, they wouldn't have the outcome that when this works, they wouldn't have that outcome programmed into the game, but they do. So, like I say, it's just, it's a little strange, but we probably have, if the Grove is not hostile to us right now, which I don't know if it is or not. If it's not hostile, we probably have one more chance at this. And that one chance could be very, very bad. It's going to be very, very tricky to pull off, so we'll kind of see how it plays out here, see what happens. Yeah, it's, you can't say it's cursed. It is what it is. I mean, I know the game's not programmed to go against me like that. But yeah, it seems just as snake-bit as the Paladin playthrough in some ways. Hey, Smurf, welcome. And I don't like it to be snake-bit like that. But, like I say, it is what it is. Yeah, people delight in my hardships. I have learned that through long experience here in my live streams. So it is what it is. I roll with the punches. Well, I could theoretically roll that twice in a row, but yeah, the probability is is pretty low. So we don't start. This is the normal time for the Paladin live stream. It always takes place 2 to 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time. That's always given me a chance to have some of my weekend. I'm in an unbroken block, as opposed to having 1 in the morning on Saturday here, and then 1 in the morning again on Sunday. This gives me an evening on Saturday and a morning on Sunday before I have to stream again. I don't know about that, Smurf. It's been the Paladin live stream has always been Sundays from 2 to 5 p.m. Here, my local time, of course. What happened during the during NFL football season is that this stream moves to 2 to 5 p.m. On Saturday instead, but it still starts at 2 p.m. regardless of which day it's on. So that's 6 hours different from where you are now. Yeah, it just moved to Saturday during NFL football season here in the United States. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 35 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Paladin gameplay series. I'm Commander Jarval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So there won't be any admin notes. I would expect that that's going to be a trend going forward. Larian is obviously scaling back their work on Baldur's Gate 3 and moving on to other things. So I would expect that we're going to be getting maybe small hot fixes every once in a while from now on. Probably no more new patches or anything like that. So there probably won't be a whole lot on admin notes except for channel news. And I don't have any ongoing channel news for today. So I think we'll just skip right into our recap. Hey Lord Henry, welcome. So on our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we got drawn into some combat down at the western shore of the south side of the River Keonthar. We kind of dilly-dallied around, and when we went in there, the combat had already started, and we were forced to take a side instead of getting a conversation where we could have picked a side that would have probably opened up some more conversation options to be had. But that being said, it is what it is. That combat is now finished, and we're going to, and we've pretty much taken care of all of the things that we can do inside the city of Rivington itself. And today we're going to head into Worm's Crossing and Worm's Rock Fortress. There's a major quest waiting for us in Worm's Rock Fortress that we're not going to be doing today, but we're going to be doing some prep work for it. And there are some advancements to be made in the main quest line at Worm's Crossing. So that's where we're going to jump in and take a look at today. And we're going to be swapping characters in and out for some of this. But we'll take a look at our party and see where we at. So we have Jaheira with us in our party now. So that kind of gives us an idea about how we're going to progress with our adventures today. So this is the western side of Worm's Crossing here. We've opened up this area here. This area is going to lead us into the Open Hand Temple, which we haven't yet explored. And we are going to be doing that, but there's not a whole lot, actually, for us to really take a look at here. But we are going to take a look at it. So, but our main focus is going to be here in Worm's Crossing, where we have a couple of quest markers. We do have an Investigate the Suspicious Toys interrogation that we need to have, and we also have an advancement of several quests here inside Sharessa's Caress. So what we're going to do here is to head back up. We're going to make sure we've opened up all of this, and then we're going to head back up here to the Open Hand Temple and have some conversations in there before we then head over to Worm's Crossing. Worm's Rock Fortress is up here, and we're going to be doing some prep work in that later on today as well.
Time to press ahead.
I believe we have picked up or looted everybody down here. So let's head out. And we'll just go up here and open up the map here. We have a passageway here. Okay, and this passageway leads us into this area here. Now, we've already seen a little bit of it. So we have a note to Kairos, who was outside. We have some stuff that we can loot here. There's going to be quite a few things that we can pick up and search and loot down here. Camp supplies, that sort of stuff. Okay, and now we'll start picking up random things that are laying on the ground here, including some camp supplies, and then we're going to start looting some of this stuff around here. There's a whole bunch of paintings here that we can loot.
At your command. Something we can use?
out there.
Okay, we did perceive the trap. Somebody's been having throwing practice. Here we have the bone spike boots. We've seen the bone spike armor that allows us to deal damage to any target that hits us. The bone spike boots now have evasive instinct, so you have a +1 bonus to armor class and saving throws, as long as you are not wearing armor or holding a shield. So again, a very good monk type of item, as well as a possible spellcaster item to gain the additional +1 to armor class and saving throws. You also have increased jump distance, and you gain Brutal Leap. We've seen Brutal Leap before in the form of the bullet, and this is you leap at a target and possibly knock it prone after you're when you land. So Brutal Leap happens with both the bullet and the Minotaurs, actually. And we've seen both of those in Act 2. And this gives you that ability once per turn. It resets, so it's not a short rest or anything like that. It is a once per turn type of item, so can be quite useful.
On my way.
Let's get going. Very well.
Okay, now down here we have this area here. We can actually reach this area from another way, if I remember right. So we're gonna come at this a different way, unless I have
my attention.
The work is never done.
somebody who has Featherfall, and I don't.
Have a lot on my mind, and
So we're gonna
well,
come at this from a different way.
at the ready. Here we go. More for me.
Okay, so we'll make our way back where we were. Pick up the toadstool on our way out. I can go check. I don't know as if I can, because I believe... I mean, maybe I can. It's been a while since I've gone through this part. But I'm pretty sure when you come in the other way, you see this from down below, and the only way to reach it is to Misty Step up into it to loot this treasure, because otherwise you could come out here and loot it without having to deal with this combat. But maybe you can. Oh, you can. What do you know? I had that wrong. Thanks, Philip. Appreciate it. Like I say, it has been a while since I played this. So again, love my chat. Okay.
Something good here, I hope.
Okay, a map pointing to a secret breach in the wall of Worm's Rock Fortress. It looks like it could lead to the prison, and from there, the inside of the fortress itself. That's actually going to be very useful for us. We're now going to have... You don't need to pick it up. You can find it on your own. But now you're going to have a marker on your map showing it to you. Okay, and the rules for the smugglers. No skimming off the top, no backstabbing, all that normal stuff that comes along with being a smuggler. Eagle feather, very nice crafting ingredient. And we will send all of that off to camp. Okay, so let's head up to the open hand temple and we'll have some conversations in there. Whoops, down here. And I'm going to come at the open hand temple from the back way. So instead of fast traveling back to Rivington, I'm going to open up the map by coming in the back way over here. It is still pretty cool to see all the boats on the river. Okay, and you can see on our map that we have a couple of different ways to approach the higher area up here. And we'll just keep climbing and searching our way up here. Again, just a bunch of things that we're going to end up selling. And some crafting ingredients. Okay, now we have this area off to the side here.
Call and I answer.
Missing blood? No, never mind.
Okay, and there's the dirt mound. Scroll of telekinesis, nice.
Don't waste a step.
And this is the other way down here. Leads us back down underneath Worm's Crossing where we were. So both of these things here ultimately lead us up to the same spot here. Okay, now you can see where we are here. We're approaching the upper area into Rivington again from this way. We're going to have an opportunity here to head back around to our right. Okay, some crafting ingredients. Another pouch. And this leads us to the outside here of the Open Hand Temple. Okay, so everybody failed it because I was not quick enough. Scroll of Seeming, meh. Whoops, don't want to... You can search all of these, just can't take anything out of them. If you want to take stuff out of them, you can. However, there is a chance that you're going to get caught stealing, even through these closed doors and everything like that. So it's not really... recommended to do it. These back ways we're going to have access to on our own. We can come in this way if we would like, but we're going to head in the front door, which is just walking up here and around.
Let us talk to him. Please, if he could just...
Not everyone subscribes to what is mine is yours.
See, and this is what happened. Sometimes you get weird interactions like that with this group up here, or with some of the people inside the temple itself.
We would never hurt him. We had nothing to do with his death. The priests will open the temple up again. You'll see. They're good people, holy people. Please, in the name of the Crying One, have mercy.
May Ilmater guide your footfalls, stranger.
Okay, so here inside the Open Hand Temple, you can have conversations.
We let more outsiders in and more Baldurians die. Duke Stelnane, Father Lorcan, it's no coincidence.
We have faith here, Bill. Faith in people, no matter where they're from.
Who had more faith than Father Lorcan? How did that work out? Exactly. Lorcan let a killer into our temple due to his misguided compassion. His faith got him murdered.
Bill, I beg you, be quiet. Even sinners receive Ilmater's grace, and Father Lorcan knew that. We don't pick and choose who we aid. Thank you, stranger. I take some solace knowing that he died in Ilmater's service.
Does Ilmater's service involve protecting heretic absolutists? Or perhaps I missed that sermon.
Enough, Bill. You seem a kind soul. Our temple is open to you. Walk well.
Okay, so we'll make our way around. Everything again in here is going to be marked as steel. And we'll overhear a conversation here.
Still can't believe anyone
Okay, now
murdered
Valeria
There's enough blood to make.
is a celestial. He's a Holophant.
Look, investigator. Brilgor might have been a criminal, but he was no murderer. You're missing something. You have to be.
Enough, Yanis. Listen to yourself. You are defending a man who ritually slaughtered your high priest. The evidence speaks for itself. Brilgor killed Father Lorgan, then, be it out of shame or profane duty, offed himself with the same blade. Case closed, Sister Yanis.
Shitey little elephant. Oh, I apologize, stranger. Language like that hardly befits a rector of Ilmater. You could certainly say that. 2 people just died on temple grounds. Our high priest, Father Lorgan, and one of the new refugees, Brilgor. Investigator Valeria thinks it's a murder, and is content to blame Brilgor, the politically convenient target. Feel free to look around the temple, but fair warning, the investigator won't change her mind without significant new evidence. Charessa's caress would be my best bet. That's her usual haunt after closing a case. Valeria never found the murder weapon, so that could be a start. Anything disproving the refugee murder-suicide angle, really. I really hope you find something. For all our sakes.
Okay, so we will get an inspiration out of that. And now we have the opportunity to explore around the Open Hand Temple. Now, things are still marked as steel in here.
Better not be cursed.
Infirmary. Justice endures, even in suffering.
Now we can freely walk through these doors and talk to people.
What ails you? Marsh fever? Feather lung? Be quick, I've not got all day. What do you want to know? I reckon Investigator Valeria is right. One of the refugees killed him. Cruelly, too. They cut off his hand, sawed right through the bone. I found a paralytic poison on one of his wounds. Lorgan was alive while they took the hand. He just couldn't scream. It's sick. We give them everything. And all we get is nothing but a good man to bury.
Okay. So here's Father Lorgan. And
Nature's
we are
servant
going to
awaits.
need to... Well, maybe not.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Dwarf, dressed in red. Tunnels from the cellar. Refuge. Hiding Brilgor from fists. Took him to the tunnel with the rest. Oh, fool, fool.
The corpse remains silent. It does not know. The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so the plot thickens here, and it doesn't seem as if Brilgor is actually the main culprit here. It appears as if a dwarf dressed in red actually killed Father Lorgan. And we are going to investigate that some more in here. We're going to head out the back door.
More interesting times. On my way.
And we can head over here.
Kitchen. Visitors kindly keep to common areas. Food will be served at meal times.
I want to have a word.
I've said all I have to say already. Now I just want to pack up my kitchen and leave. I know it's not fair. This was the best job I ever had. Lorgan was kinder than most. And now they're blaming a refugee for his death. Typical. We tossed Brilgor out back.
Okay, so Brilgor's body is now out back for us to take a look at. So this is the door that that we came up and led us from down below. Okay, this door here leads us into this back area. Hey Chibi, welcome. And we're going to come back here. Well, I guess we can actually do some of these. We can read these.
See what this does.
As long as we don't pick them up. So, prayers of forgiveness here. Dead speakers. These were the leaders of the Open Hand Temple. Father Lorgan is down here at the bottom. So, apply for dead speaker training at the earliest opportunity. Can't have none at the next temple inspection. Why? And we do have meditations from him, and there are a few volumes of this scattered around, where you learn that he's trying to basically counteract the negative influence or negative opinions that the Fist have of the refugees. So we'll head back out here. And we have a couple of things to do here. Now the first is, remember, we have another quest marker here.
Direct me.
It helps when you do this if you have Gale in your party. And yeah, let's see.
How did you last so long without me?
There is a path up here.
Most excellent.
And I believe it's actually like right here, but it's just as easy to cast Enhanced Leap and start working your way around. And you can see up here we have a Tressim.
Is that Tara? Why, I think it is.
And Gale recognizes that Tressim.
Mr. Dakarios, heavens! Fancy seeing you here. I suppose you won't be terribly shocked to find your old friend Tara amongst the pigeons. They've always been a personal favorite. Oh, but that reminds me, I found you something. A lovely little keepsake. In the past, it might have helped with your condition, but now that you're better, perhaps you can put it to some other use.
For me? You shouldn't have.
I know, but I just love you so.
Tara, I don't suppose you're responsible for the missing messenger pigeons.
One needn't guess. Pigeon meat is my second favorite.
I'd offer you some of your favorite meat, but I haven't got any. A holder jerky is surprisingly hard to come by.
More's the pity, but no bother. These pigeons are quite delicious.
Very well. Enjoy your feast, Tara.
Thank you. I most certainly will, sir.
Okay, so if you don't have Gale in your party, you can talk to Tara, and through some conversations, you can persuade her to leave and get the bundle of letters that way. And we'll gain an inspiration here for that. And there's a Postmaster shipment inquiry here. Now, this is a little odd. If you read it, for the special and direct attention of Roa Moonglow only. Look, Roa, the city Zent have been consummate professionals. Don't understand why the Joaquin's rest cell was so useless. Could you put out some feelers? I was supposed to receive several items from them a few days ago, but haven't heard anything. From Danzo. Now, we've met Danzo before, and this letter isn't really supposed to be here. The two things that we picked up, first is the Ring of Blink. It, first of all, gives you Blink, which is a level 3 spell that you can do once per long rest. You roll a d20, and you have a 50% chance to vanish into an ethereal plane where you can't be harmed. You can choose to teleport it up to 6 meters, and then you can choose to come back from that plane. It's a way to avoid damage and draw attention at the same time. Situationally can be very useful, but you get a bundle of letters. Now, our quest journal. Okay, Postmaster Danzo will be pleased. He said that if we find the letters, we shouldn't read them. Okay, now, inside of this bundle of letters, if you click it to open it, you're going to find 3 different letters. And one of them is actually the same Postmaster shipment inquiry that is here. So there's a bug, no one's entirely sure what's causing it, for a duplicate of this thing to be sitting up here on the roof. And it allows the same interactions that you're going to get as if you had already opened up the bundle of letters. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open these up, and there's the same Postmaster shipment inquiry. Okay, so it is a different item in that there's one line that is different between the two of these, and that's just concerning the Iron Flask. But again, with this one here being labeled inside the game as being the same item, even though they're obviously 2 different items, interacting with this is going to cancel out the other options of not having read the letters. So you might as well read the letters if this thing shows up here on your rooftop, because it's going to count as having it opened anyway. So that's what we did, and we're going to end up taking that back and finishing that quest line when we finish investigating around here. So I'm actually going to... Check and see. Because, yeah, it's going to be -2. I can probably get Astarion close enough here. Well, maybe. Yeah, it's melee, so he's not going to be able to.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Didn't take any damage because of Arcane Ward anyway. Okay, so now we need to head out here and look at this back area, because remember, they said that they tossed Brilgor out back, right? So you have a back way here, an iron gate to get back in. This leads you into the Circus of the Last Days, where we've already been.
I'll give it a shot.
Belfry. Bell ringers only past this point.
Okay, and you have the belfry here. I believe there's a searchable. Yep, there is. Okay, so up here we have a burnished necklace that we can loot here. And that's about it. You can interact with the bell here. Now we're going to head back down. I don't know of any hidden interactions with the bell. I actually haven't explored it all that much. But if there is, I'm sure somebody will let me know.
At least things have stayed interesting.
Get out of here where our vision cones are so hard to manage. And we're going to head back down here, and we're going to head out this back door. Going to be some crafting ingredients out here, and this is going to take us back into the graveyard. And you can interact.
Mikkel Hornkiss gave all to the lepers, fell to the malady himself. He is a beacon to us all.
With all of these tombstones, if you would like. We do have some biscuits here. And once you're around the corner, we have a dirt mound here. Okay, and here's a wooden casket. And inside that is Brilgor. Okay, you can bring Brilgor's body out. Speak with the dead on it.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Father Lorgan, helping me. Dwarf, Red clothes. Stranger. Tunnels beneath temple. Hidden from sight. Concealed buttons. Lorgan opened for me. Fists. After me. Needed to hide.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so looking at our quest journal here again. So we spoke with Giannis and Valeria and discovered that the crime scene below the Open Hand Temple is connected to Father Lorgan's murder. What the key unlocks, however, is still a mystery. And remember, we've been into those tunnels already. We had the fight with the doppelgangers beneath the Open Hand Temple, and we picked up the flowery key. Okay, so we've already done that part. If you hadn't gone in through the tunnel entrance down underneath Worm's Crossing, then you would have an opportunity here to head down to that and have that encounter. It's just easier to go into that combat encounter from the direction that we did, as opposed to being in behind him because of the way the detection cones lay out. So now it basically says that we need to find out whatever the flowery key unlocks. And remember, could be somewhere in here. Somebody has it. Okay, somebody has it. We've already picked it up, or else we wouldn't have gotten the quest advancement for it. So it's in our inventory somewhere in somebody's key pouch, probably, or something like that, where it's hidden from view. But we do have it, and we now have to figure out where that goes. It actually might be in Shadow Hearts, now that I come to think of it. But we need to find out what that key goes to continue on with the Open Hand Murders quest. Okay. So what we need to do now, though, is head back to Sword Coast Couriers, because we need to have a conversation with Postmaster Danzo about this. And again, you have the back way from the Circus of Last Days into the graveyard here. So if you want to pick your way into these areas, you certainly can. You just don't have to once you gain access to be able to walk freely around the temple. So we're going to head back out the front and head back over to Sword Coast Couriers. No, not this way. We'll go out this way into the main sanctuary. And I can't remember if Sister Giannis has another conversation option now that we've connected the dots.
How goes the search? That's it! Proof that Valeria missed something. They'll have to listen to you now. If you can convince them of Brilgor's innocence, then perhaps Ilmater could shed one less tear this day.
Okay, so another option there, which basically says that, again, we've cleared up the whole mystery here. We had found the dagger here underneath the Open Hand Temple, and that was the murder weapon. And now we're going to have to, again, figure out where the flowery key goes and what it's used for us to continue on with this. And we are quickly going to find out where that goes. But let's head out the front here and head to Sword Coast Couriers right across the street. and have a talk with Danzo.
Don't suppose you've stumbled across those letters yet? Ah, you've opened it, I see. Well, let's cut to the chase. Go on. Tell me how much your silence is going to cost me.
Okay, so you have a persuasion option here. It's a pretty high DC. With us rolling how we are, I'm going to add advantage onto this and guidance from Gale. See if we can roll a 50-50 here. Oh, didn't need it. Guess I'm a little gun shy after the rolls yesterday.
Fine. Take it all and keep your trap shut.
Now you can choose to turn him in, but you are going to get 644 gold here out of it. So that is a way to make the most money out of this, is to do that. Okay, so I'm still encumbered. Oh, no, I wasn't. It just didn't update my carry weight. Okay, so we've gone as far as we can go with the locations out here in Rivington itself. We now need to start heading into Worm's Crossing and dealing with some of these other things in here. And before I do that...
Work to be done.
Okay, so I don't have any more wild shape changes. Seeing what we have here. Okay, that's good enough.
We got ours, you've got yours. I need you to step back.
There must be something.
I said, step back!
Damned outsiders. Swarming the place.
Okay, so we have the South Span checkpoint here, and we have some Flaming Fist and a Steel Watcher here.
Very well.
Halt! By orders of Lord Gortash, refugees are no longer allowed in the city. Turn around. Well, do you have the means to support yourself?
Okay, so you do have an option here to pay 200 gold to head in. I have, because of my Warlock subclass...
I'm afraid Article 30.1.7 stipulates that religious or spiritual assertions cannot count towards one's proof of self-sufficiency. I will repeat. For the last time, may I add, do you have means to support yourself?
Okay, so there are a few ways to get around this. You do not have to pay this. There are multiple ways to get past this checkpoint so that you don't have to deal with them. We've already encountered a couple of them, including some parkour over the side of the bridge to come up on the span. I don't really care that much to go through all of them here.
Article 30.1.5 of the Council's decree on extraordinary wartime measures. I am confiscating that. The city thanks you for your contribution. Your name?
I love this answer.
Well met, Citizen Fluffington.
Your parasite stirs. From the construct, you feel connection, resonance.
I am a Steel Watcher, citizen. Here to serve the people of Baldur's Gate in the name of Lord Enver Gortash.
State your business.
I'm a herbalist by trade, Sir Fist. My assistants and I were out collecting blooms for that rub rot going around. Oof, nasty business. Contagious.
Uh-huh. Eyes open, body still.
Behind the Watcher's gaze, a presence awakens. You are seen. You are known. Your party's prior transgressions are reflected in its stare, as witnessed by the cult's ever-alert, scrying eyes. It has heard the howls of slaughtered goblins. It knows the cold walls of Moonrise Towers, and the cultists who fell there. The Watcher speaks directly into your mind with a voice like poisoned honey.
You are marked for special treatment. Not simply an enemy of the people, but an enemy of the Absolute. Come quietly, or die.
Okay, so you have two different options on how to go about this if you get to this point. And again, you don't have to do any of this. There are multiple ways around all of this. I'm going to consent to arrest here.
Your peaceful surrender has been noted. You will be transferred to Worms Rock Prison, where you will await further sentencing.
Eat this, you pile of junk!
Villains, take heed.
God damn it all!
Recovery is imminent.
Those little bastards, or I'll have your heads!
Okay, so somebody threw something at the Steel Watcher, and it has burned out optics and an overloaded optical circuit. So we no longer have to worry about being arrested. Now, what that was the one of the Iron Hand gnomes came up and threw a flash blinder grenade at the Steel Watcher. Okay. And that gives it burned out optics and overloaded optical circuits. So it can't scan citizens anymore. And normally when you burn out the optics, it's going to receive a 1d6 penalty to its attack rolls. And it won't necessarily overloaded optical circuit. This is specific to this Steel Watcher here at this one location. But it shows you what a portion of what the flash blinder grenades are good for. And they can really turn the tide in fights against the Steel Watchers. And remember, we purchased 4 of those. We're going to continue purchasing them because they are extraordinarily useful for later encounters with the Steel Watchers. So if it's a Steel Watcher, you stun it, and it suffers that 1d6 penalty to attack rolls. So, again, really, really nice thing to have, but now we're able to get inside the south span of Worms Crossing, and we'll make sure we unlock the waypoint. And now we're able to explore all of this area here, and we're going to kind of skip forward a little bit.
You are safe.
Teresa's caress isn't just about wetting your whistle.
We can get in Worms Crossing. This is safe to take. You're absolutely sure?
And we're going to head down here to this location. We can click on the blackboard here.
What good is that?
Inside the door. The Harpers are waiting too.
A hero is nothing without the right equipment. See Danthelon's Dancing Axe for all your adventuring needs.
Okay, and if you remember, this was mentioned by Jaheira. I don't know if it's listed in here now. Written out. But Jaheira wanted us to venture to Danthelon's Dancing Axe, and having her in your party here is a benefit. That's why we're skipping all the way down here to do this now.
Welcome to Danthelon's Dancing Axe. Our stock isn't used.
Greetings, sir. Your noble bearing brings a little class to my humble...
Oh, you can turn off the charm, Entharl. He's with me.
Blueberries. Thought I had a sale. You look tired, Harper.
I missed you too. They're already here?
Down below. Here's the key. Agreed. Didn't stop Jaheira's lot from nesting in my cellar.
Entharl's no Harper, and claims no love for those who are. But he's been known to shelter us when we need it.
Entharl has been known to charge rent. Harpers have been known to ignore him. Now go on. The short father may send me an actual paying customer today. To buy? You're already my favorite.
Okay, so here is Entharl Danthelon. And he's going to be selling a lot of fairly important potions, especially the potions of invisibility and the elixirs of sea invisibility. He's also got a lot of arrows, especially of the slaying kind, which are incredibly useful for fights later on. And then we are going to have some special items as always. So, Blightbringer. Attacking gnomes or dwarves with this weapon receives a 1d4 bonus to attack rolls and damage rolls. Okay, so if you are going up against gnomes or dwarves, you're going to get a plus bonus to hit and to damage on this. When you land a crit with it, it's going to slow the target. Now, slow as a condition means that its movement speed is cut in half, and its armor class and dexterity saving throws are reduced by 2. Okay, it cannot take reactions, and it can't make more than one attack per turn. So, it also can only take either an action or a bonus action. It can't do both. So this actually is really nice, especially at the level we're at here where everybody has extra attack. This would keep people from utilizing a lot of their action economy by landing a crit with it. The rest of these, Harmonic Dueler. So this is actually a very fun weapon. It's a standard +1 rapier. Rapiers are finesse weapons, so they're dex-based. But the class action once per short rest is Mellow Harmony. You can make a performance check, and for a bard who has proficiency and or expertise in performance, to make that check, success granting all of your melee weapon attacks additional damage equal to your charisma modifier. So with charisma being the main bard ability score anyway, at this point you probably have at least +4 in charisma as a bard. Once per short rest, you can, for 10 turns, utilize this to grant an additional +4 damage to your melee weapon attacks with it. So, again, a way to guarantee extra damage that comes along with it. So if you have a paladin who might be using a Hexblade paladin who might be using the Chargebound Warhammer, and you have a bard in your party, the Harmonic Dueler can be very useful as the weapon for that bard. to have. It does decent damage from them, especially if you're binding this as a packed weapon and you're doing your charisma bonus on top of that. This additional damage stacks with that directly on top of it. So can be a very, very useful weapon for your bard class. The Horns of the Berserker is one of the best helmets for your monk class, in that you gain a +2 bonus to attack rolls when attacking creatures that have already taken damage. So if you're out with your monk roaming around the battlefield finishing enemies off, you're going to gain a +2 to hit on any of them that have already taken damage. However, the main thing is Bloodthirst. Your unarmed and melee attacks will deal an extra 2 necrotic damage as long as you don't have your full health. If you don't deal any damage that turn, you take 1d4 necrotic damage at the end of your turn. So basically, for your monk, your unarmed attacks, which you're able to do a bunch of in a turn, are all going to gain 2 extra necrotic damage as long as you were at least 1 hit point below your full health. And that can stack up a lot. Like I say, monks can have a lot of bonus action melee attacks that are unarmed, and that damage can really stack up against single targets or multiple targets. So definitely a good helmet to have for that type of class. The rest of these, I believe, are just +1s or +2s for the armors. Yes. Then you get the Cloak of Displacement. This is one of the best defensive cloaks in the game. At the beginning of the wearer's turn, the cloak activates, granting enemies disadvantage on attack rolls that target that wearer. We already have learned how important disadvantage and advantage are. This effect lasts until the wearer takes damage. And this is every turn. It doesn't reset like at short rest or long rest. This is every turn. So if you roll high in the initiative order, then this is going to activate. All the enemies that attack you are going to have disadvantage on those attack rolls. If they do land an attack, then that displacement effect is going to go away, but at the start of your next turn, it's going to refresh itself. So this cloak is extraordinarily useful for a bunch of different classes and is something that we're definitely going to pick up here. The Gauntlets of the War Master. Targets have disadvantage on saving throws against your maneuver and weapon actions. So maneuvers from your Battle Master subclass on your fighter category. If you're doing pushing attack, disarming attack, tripping attack, stuff like that, they're going to have disadvantage on resisting that trip or push or disarm or anything like that, which makes them much more likely to land when you do those things. It also gives you a straight +1 to your attack roll. It is medium armor, so you need to be aware of that. It also applies to weapon actions. So if you have a specific weapon that is equipped that has a weapon action associated with it, I don't know as if I do have anything. Yeah, here, like on Nyrolna, a couple of weapon actions. Now, I don't have those unlocked because of proficiency, but it would make them have disadvantage on saving against bleeding because this is a weapon action. So very, 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 very useful for certain types of builds. And last is the Snow-Dusted Monastery Gloves. Now, these are one of a set of elemental damage monk gloves. You're going to see fire, cold, thunder, lightning, and fire damage added in as 1d4 cold damage from a set of gloves that a monk can use. I believe we've already seen the thunder-based version of this, but this is the snow-based version of it, and you're always going to get a corresponding spell that goes along with it. In this case, it's Ice Knife. So, again, dealing with the vendor trading, things that we talked about during yesterday's playthrough, on the Honor Mode playthrough, and there's a whole chapter marker devoted to explaining how vendor interactions work. you can go do a respec right now. Donate 400 gold to him at level 1 to get his attitude up to 100 and get significantly reduced prices on all of these items. Because the gauntlets of the War Master, you can see, fairly expensive. The Blightbringer is almost 1,000 gold in and of itself. On my playthrough here, I'm going to be focused on the Cloak of Displacement. I'm not going to need a whole lot more here from this. So I'm going to focus on this. I'll deal with the rest of this stuff later, but only situationally as I need it. Not anything that I'm really interested in spending a whole lot on right now.
A pleasure. Jaheira needs more friends like you. Right, Tommy.
Okay, so for the Cloak of Displacement, this is immediately going to be useful, in that for what's going to happen, I'm going to put that onto Astarion, and you're going to immediately see how this is going to work with him. I'm also going to swap out his gloves here and his ring. Okay, so I think everybody else is set. Yes, they are. Okay, so we got a key from him to head downstairs. And if you head through the double doors here, there's this iron ladder which can take you downstairs. Now, before we do that,
Watch your elders and learn.
Swift as my feet can carry me.
Hi, Harper. May Seluna's tears shine on this meeting.
A very formal greeting, Geraldus. You are well?
Yes. Hi, Harper. Standing beneath Seluna's tears.
The lad's a little nervous, Jaheira. We heard of your great victory against Kith'rak.
Geraldus isn't nervous. He's terrified. And he's using Seluna's tears as some kind of code.
I understand, Geraldus. Take a moment. And you, Harper. There is something familiar about you. Doesn't she remind you of our old friend Marcus?
Jaheira's meaning is clear. Marcus was a traitor laying a trap. The same, it seems, is happening here.
okay, so that's what the insight check was for, was to understand what's happening here. If you fail the insight check, you can continue on with this conversation to pass another check later to fully understand that Jaheira is trying to convey to you that there's a trap. But I am going to go ahead and start this off, because that gets me a surprise round. Okay. So you can see immediately what's happening with Astarion. He has the displaced condition that's applied to me. So I'm going to move up here, and remember, my sneak attacks are doing additional force damage here. And seeing how I want to play this out.
Outmaneuver them.
Okay. And remember, all of my hits against surprised targets are going to be crits. And you see all of that damage adding up because the Sword of Life Stealing, when it hits, is going to add 10 necrotic damage. Okay, so I believe
I can still move fast when I need to.
I have enough here. Why can't I throw it? Oh. Is that because does not being proficient limit my ability to throw an item? I didn't think that was the case. If it is, that's a little strange. Okay, but now I'm going to move forward here with Zephyr Strike. Okay, and you see what that did. One, again, that is thunder damage, so it's stacked reverberation on top of all of that as well. It's an extraordinary ability to use, especially, it's a 12-meter range, which is huge. And it works against multiple targets in that line. Here we just don't have multiple targets lined up.
Nothing important is ever easy.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in here.
Best be on my way.
Okay, and you can see what's happening to them. They are turning into doppelgangers. So we are back at the whole doppelganger thing.
Gone with the weave. Don't get too close.
Okay. So now for Astarion, we're going to use our bonus, or our offhand attack here to finish him off. Okay, or not finish him off. Okay, thank you. With 80%. Okay. I'm going to move up here and see if I can take the attack. As I'm displaced here, and he'll have advantage on that, or disadvantage on that attack roll. Was hoping he wasn't going to attack me with that. That's why I moved Astarion up there to try and take that attack. But you can also see what it did with Jaheira being that same reverberation radiating orb build. It got enough reverberation stacks to knock him prone.
Going. Another step forward.
Okay, now we're going to have advantage on all these attacks while he's prone. Don't need to.
Orin's doppelgangers.
Look at all those damage number
The
stacks.
names she brought to Baal's side, I wonder.
Mahler's mark. How many more Harpers dead?
Okay, so we can head back down to the ladder and talk to Geraldus down here.
Dinner with my parents, remember?
Open up.
Here we have the kill order. So, actually, just going after Jaheira, the crone, but not before you tell her how her little soldiers died. So, they would like to use her hair as a harp. So, Orin is, yeah, not a nice person.
Something's on my mind.
Did I get it right?
Seluna's tears. It is said no false face can stand beneath their light. An old code, Harper. But yes, you got it right. Now I need your report.
We had eyes on suspected cultists in the city, like you asked. We thought we were tracking them, but...
They were tracking you instead. Evidently. Doppelgangers.
And they're not just working with the cult, High Harper. They're part of it. Baalists, I think.
Sworn to Orin the Red, yes. We've already had the pleasure. Go on.
Everything seemed fine until your latest orders. Until we started to search for the Rashomar. They struck the same night. I woke to one of them strangling Chelvin, while smiling at me out of her face. She said... It said... that I'd report back to you as normal. Lure you here, and... I had no choice!
I'm sure it felt that way, Geraldus. The others were likely dragged back to Orin. Tortured. Sacrificed. I do not expect you to die for me. But to risk Entharl, any citizen who might have wandered in, there is always a choice. And the Harper must be able to make the hard ones. Perhaps this isn't the life for you after all, Geraldus.
No, Jaheira! High Harper, please! I'm still a Harper. I want to help!
You've scarcely signed up, boy. And there is a war coming. Why die a Harper when you could still live as anything else?
I want to fight. For Chelvin. For all of them. So it means something.
Death is death. To look for meaning in it is foolishness, boy. Childish storybook nonsense. Exactly the kind the Harper would spout, I suppose. Fine. I have no right to make the choice for you. Not when this mess is of my making. I sent the Harpers hunting after the cult, without thinking what it would mean to be hunted in turn. Now they are compromised. And if not for you, I wouldn't even know it. I'm sorry, Geraldus. Harper. And I owe you an apology as well. I haven't told you everything I hope to learn here today. First, Geraldus, you're the last Harper in the city I can rely on. Lay low and rest while you can. I have matters to discuss with my friend here.
Okay, so we'll talk to Jaheira.
Orin knows the hunt. In one stroke, she places the Harpers beyond our reach. Separates us from our pack. Until we know who the false facers are, we cannot trust anyone beyond ourselves. Except Geraldus. It has been some time since anyone dared rap my knuckles like you did. No less than I deserve. I have not been overly generous with the truth. I came here to learn of the Chosen, true enough. But I set my Harpers searching for someone else, too. Tell me, what do you know of a man named Minsk of Rashomon?
The name is as familiar as Jaheira's own. A hero of the time of troubles, who saved the city more than once.
I'm not afraid to tell you, chat, that every time I hear this conversation, I get goosebumps on my arms. I've got them again right now.
But few know of his fate, I think. I had hoped to keep it that way. Minsk is an old friend. Perhaps my oldest. We've fought at one another's backs times beyond counting. And the last time I saw him, I left him to die. Before we ever heard of this Absolute, we received word of a gathering in the Undercity. What we found was the first dark seed of this plot. A circle of cultists with mind flayers in their midst. We might have ended it there, cut off at the root, but before I could send for help, Minsk charged in alone. It was chaos. He was overrun, dragged down beneath a mass of tentacles. I had a choice. Stay and let word of this cult die with us, or leave him and live to fight another day.
So, just keeping in perfect character with who Minsk is, he pulled a Leroy Jenkins and charged in all by himself. Jaheira made a different choice than the rest of the party members made in that infamous video. And that's kind of where we are here today.
And would again. The world takes much from those who presume to defend it. But sometimes, you get to take it back. Infection, indoctrination, eradication. That has been the fate of everyone the cult has captured so far. But it has not been yours. With your help, perhaps it need not be Minsk's either. As simply as that? For no other reason than that I asked? Perhaps you two will get along. Oh, the point is moot without a means to find him. Without the Harpers, we shall have to find another path. I'll have a better idea of what that is once we're through the gates. Seems I need to reacquaint myself with this damned city.
Okay, so learning about Minsk is, again, just cool. You've gotten hints, a couple of hints about Minsk at different points in the game here, but this goes back to previous video games here for BioWare, which was the original Baldur's Gate game, had both Jaheira and Minsk in it, and somebody else, which again I'm not going to spoil. And he also made an appearance in Baldur's Gate 2, and the expansion, The Throne of Baal. And there are, I believe, I think he was also in Dragon Spear, but I can't remember. But yes, this is a big piece of history for anybody who has played the previous Baldur's Gate games. And the person, when we meet Minsk later on, the person who voice acts Minsk is one of my favorite people. And you're going to learn, like I say, a lot more about that as we go. But for now, it's just an amazing piece of history going back in the games that I just love to see that Larian was able to bring back out. When they brought out the trailers and let us get some hints about Minsk, it was a huge deal. It was just a massive, break there for everyone to see how Larian was going to do an amazing amount of fan service by adding Minsk back into this game as well. So, just like I say, just love to see it. I want to do something else here.
Let there be something green.
Why can't it be? Let's see if I can change it this way. I can't. Okay, what am I missing here? Chat. Why am I not able to unequip it? Is this something to do with Zephyr connection? Seems weird that I would not be able to unequip it. It keeps popping up the notification that I cannot unequip this. Can I send it to somebody else? No. Okay. That's interesting. I'll look more into that.
Still alive, so that's progress.
Okay. So there are some other things that you can search and pick up down here. There is a heavy chest over here with some scrolls. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do, I mean, yeah, I can try going to camp right now and seeing. It's weird, I don't remember this interaction before. Yeah, can't be unequipped. I don't think command drop would work because Narulna is specifically meant to not do that. You cannot be forced to drop the trident here. So I think that's meant to specifically avoid command drop and disarm attacks. However, this is not being forced to drop it. This is me wanting to drop it, and I can't. And I'm not entirely sure, because I haven't found or run into this interaction before. So I'm wondering if this is something that's been unintentionally introduced. But I will try. Jaheira's here.
Waiting. Well, certainly waiting.
I can redo her spell book. Oh, yeah. I can't with Jaheira. I need to bring in Shadowheart to do command.
No time to rest.
Oh no, I've got it here on here. And again, I think this is not going to work. Okay, target can't be an ally anyway. So that's a weird interaction that I haven't run into before. So if y'all find anything out about it, let me know, because that's odd.
Have to keep going.
Haven't run into that before. Yeah, I am gonna have to take a long rest anyway here coming up, so I'll certainly try it after that and see what happens. So heading back out of Danthalon's, that advanced. Okay, and we had the high. I just missed this under the companions. because here's where it talks about Danthalon's dancing axe. I just missed the High Harper in the companion listing here. But we now need to find Minsk. We are trying to find a way, and we need to search out a way in the lower city, which is again past Worms Rock Fortress, past the North Span, to get into the city. So now what we need to do is again find a way to get into the city, because the bridge is closed here, and to do that we have a couple of more things here, and we're going to head down here to Sharess's Caress, and we're going to start working our way through this. Sharess's Caress is famous in Baldur's Gate lore. So many different campaigns have interactions with Sharess's Caress, and seeing it again, I'll just say it one last time, but seeing anything here in the city of Baldur's Gate being brought to life in here again after all this time is just, it's amazing. I absolutely love seeing it. So we're going to head in here to Sharess's Caress, and there are a few things to do in here. So a couple of things to realize. First is Mamzelle Amira here, who is the proprietor of Sharess's Caress.
I have something to ask.
A weary traveler, battered and bruised, you come for sustenance, no, decadence. A mien cool as ice, yet eyes burning hot. Oh yes, I know your bliss. A sturdy dwarf, a leather whip, she gives, you receive. Or have I misjudged you? Of course you wouldn't. Who can resist the pleasure of the strap once leather meets flesh? It's Ffion you seek, our stern librarian. She isn't here today, alas. Your penance must wait. Well, we've other ways to fill your void. A drink for one, a pair of drow for another. Choose your sin.
Hey, we're going to ask about this stern librarian of hers.
Swishing. I'm no fortune teller. If I had a crystal ball, I promise I'd already have consulted it. Truth is, Fion's gone well missing. And my hands may be skillful, but they were not made to turn every last stone she might be hiding behind. To service is my calling, not to be served. But I'd be a fool to say no. The girl kept my coffers near overflowing. 2 flights up, then turn right, and right again. That's Fion's pleasure room, Elminster's library. Here, take the key.
Elminster's library? People will get their thrills in the strangest of places.
I'm listening. Nisha, our lovely nymph. She's engaged in the nymph's grotto on the top floor, sweeting. The client's a favorite of hers, too. I doubt you'll be able to tear her away. But we are blessed to have a devil in residence at the moment. A temporary guest. But he asked that I send any potential clients his way. Everyone who's paid a visit looks quite changed by the experience. Indeed he did. Raphael. Exceedingly handsome, and with a voice that could make the foulest blasphemy seem the sweetest hymn. Twins, yes. Hands of such skill they could turn stone to silk. Your body could suffer no knot they can't untangle. They're through the curtain to the right. You'll need coin and stamina in abundance to enjoy their services, but the gold will be as well spent as you are.
Okay, so we did get the room's key here, and that's going to be important as we progress through Sharessa's Caress here. But there's somebody else here at the bar that we have gotten glimpses of, and we're going to talk to them here.
Damn, Hoots! That new batch burns stronger than a pit fiend's fist.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Take it however you want. But I'll be having my usual from now on. Oh. It's Raphael's favorite misadventurer. You've put me out of pocket, you know. Raphael bet me 5 soul coins you'd reach the city in one piece. He rented a room upstairs in the hope that you'd drop by. Ah, I forget we've never met. I've had my eyes and ears on you so long we feel like old friends. Carilla is my name. I'm Raphael's assistant, shall we say. Take your time. Have a drink. Sample the goods. Go see him when you're feeling refreshed.
Okay, so Carilla is Raphael's right hand. And like I say, we've encountered her in a couple of fleeting glimpses prior to this. And now we kind of learn a little bit more about who she is. So a couple of other important things to do right here at the entrance. We're going to talk to Kira the cat.
Come to pay your respects to the real lady of the house, I see. What a clever creature you are. It's your lucky day. I am receiving compliments at this time, and you are most welcome to make an offering.
This is so cat-like. I love this whole interaction here.
Oh, you are quite correct. I consider them one of my finest features. The unwashed rabble who frequent this establishment have much to learn from your deference, and I must suffer their foibles alone. But they do say a burden shared is a burden halved. Can't you hear from here? They're talking about the new top cat in the criminal underbelly. Go and listen for yourself. As for them personally, one never washes and instead douses himself with rose oil, while the other can't hold his drink. The Drow, 2 of our most popular courtesans. A night with them seems to be rather life-changing, if you can afford it. Of course, they are siblings, but judging from the throngs of clients they draw, most of the city is as disgusting as they are. That's rather a broad topic. We get all sorts here. But there is one frequent visitor whose very presence offends me. He dresses fabulously, but stinks of the hells. Something infernal, to be sure. Abhorrent.
I love Kira the cat. I love my cats, but yes, haughty, imperious, asking for all sorts of attention, perfectly cat-like. And then watching the animation of her raising and dropping her, alternating her front feet when cats make biscuits and that sort of stuff, it's a great interaction. So we're going to go over here and talk and have an interaction here with Irina and the Fist.
You're looking parched, sweetheart. Another tankard?
Else, darling. Another sip and I'm like to spill over. But other hankering for spicier flavours. How about you give me a taste? Right as falling rain. What's it to you, chuffer?
Don't worry your pretty head about the fist, love. I can play them all like a lute.
Okay, you can intimidate or deception here. I'm gonna let her handle the situation.
What'd you say, doll? Have a sit on my lap. Let's see what pops up.
Darling, how you set me a quiver. You are a beast among men. No, a dragon, setting my phoenix nest aflame. I shall slake your thirst, dragon. You will part your lips and drink of my essence.
Oh, I will drink your essence.
Hoots, order up! Another tankard for the fist.
Oh boy, we're getting into some serious innuendo territory here. And speaking of Hoots, Hoots Hooligans behind the bar.
Now, that there's a face I'd remember if I'd seen it. Welcome to Sharess's Caress. What can Hoots do for you, stranger? You got a taste for ale, I reckon? Or maybe... Ah, forget it. My new brew could drop you in the wink of a spectator's eye. Don't know about that, chum. Hoots Hooch packs a stronger wallop than all 10 of my knuckles. Could beef you up, sharpen your tongue, or knock you out cold. No telling till the first drop hits your gullet. Damn! The man knows what he wants. First one's on the house. So, don't come bawling to me if your big toes fall off or your tongue coils in a knot. Have a look.
Okay, now Hoots is a trader, and you can buy all sorts of camp supplies here. This is going to be something that you're going to find once you get to Worm's Crossing, is that you now have a very reliable way to get camp supplies from gold. And you can get some high number camp supplies. Now, all of these, and again, this is kind of what I'm saying, you can get 6 camp supplies for 12 gold there. So when you go through these, look and see what your camp supply to gold ratio is, if you're short on camp supplies in an honor mode playthrough or something like that. Because this is 6 here for 12 gold. This is 6 each, and there are 6 of them for a total of 12 gold. This one is 4 each for 3 of them, and it costs 90 gold. So it's obviously much better to buy the ice wines than it is the noble rot. But there's vendors all up and down the bridge out here that are selling different types of camp supplies. This is ale. You're going to find vegetables, and you're going to find meat and that sort of stuff up and down the bridge here from the stall vendors. If you ask for Hoots' Hooch, then you get access to this. If you just go into a trading inventory before you ask for it, it won't be here. And this gives you the Amulet of the Drunkard that you can purchase. So while wearing this amulet, you regain 2d4 hit points per turn while drunk. Additionally, increase the duration of your inebriation by 5 rounds. Now, remember earlier when we found the Punch-Drunk Bastard, the two-handed great club that allows you to do additional damage while you are drunk. That pairs in a perfect synergy with Amulet of the Drunkard, because now you can use a camp supply to get drunk. You're going to stay drunk for a much longer time, and even though it's going to be harder for you to hit because of the penalties because of being drunk in and of itself. Well, actually, I guess it's not. You're just going to have disadvantage on dexterity and charisma checks while you're drunk. But you're going to be able to do extra damage using Punch Drunk Bastard, and you're going to be able to regain hit points at the start of every turn in addition to that. So those two things paired together are actually a fairly potent combo. I've seen some really, really cool builds based around those two things being drunk, and it can get really interesting. If you haven't gotten the achievement for killing enemies while you are drunk, this is one of the best items to help you out while you're doing that. You really should have done that much, much earlier on in your playthrough when you're dealing with low hit point goblins and that sort of stuff. But if you don't have it and you want to do it now, the Amulet of the Drunkard and Punch Drunk Bastard together can certainly help you get that rather quickly.
All set, are you?
Okay, so now off here to the right leads us into this area here, which we're going to hold off on for a second because we also got something that there were a couple of people that we want to overhear a conversation with. And again, I'm going
nice to be wanted.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have.
The two men bark softly to each other. A single name reaches your ears. Nine Fingers. It's a name you know. Nine Fingers is the head of the Guild, a criminal organization operating inside Baldur's Gate.
Okay, so I either have a perception check, which I don't have any bonuses to here, but because of the history check I've made, I do have advantage on this because of the Hellrider Longbow. But because of the history check that I passed, I now open up a deception check that I can make. Hey, Oscar, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Oh, yeah. Seems everyone's got business with her. Heard the gal met her match.
The new kingpin? All meat and muscle, that one. And wild as a werebear. If he's looking to oust Nine Fingers, my blade's got his back.
Sounds messy as the ninth hell. Must be why she called us to help.
Is that right? The way I heard it, you Zent cut a deal with the new... Hold on. Hey, you still lurking about? I don't remember inviting you to the party.
And here we have a persuasion check. Higher DC. Oh, and we're trying to fail it.
Look, this subject's not safe. You selling your services, beat feet to the Guildhall. Lower City, Basilisk Gate, Guildhall. And that's all you're getting from me. Now scram! The chat's officially closed.
Okay, and that's going to open up the Aid the Underduke quest. There are multiple ways to start this. This is one of the more popular ways to do it. And having this quest active is fairly important. The encounter that we had on the beach over there, where we were brought into combat, is another way to start this quest off, and this would advance it if you have done that. We didn't do that because we were dragged into that combat outside of our own accord, so this is the way that we started it here. Again, we do have the quest to find Ffion, and obviously Raphael is waiting for us up there as well. We're going to continue on with Find Ffion, because this is going to help us with another one, and that is solve the open hand temple murders. So we're going to, for now, not deal with any of this, and we're going to head upstairs.
Moving in.
And we can head around, and again, you can just look, there are citizens up here. We have another floor up here that we can look at, but we also have other ways to get out of here and wander around the outsides of Sharessa's Caress, but we need to go up to the second floor. You can see our quest markers are all above us.
It's just unpleasant to need something like this.
Okay, and we have a couple of quest markers here right beside each other. So this door over here is going to lead us into a conversation with Raphael and Kith'rak Voss, and we want to have Lae'zel with us when we do that, so we're going to hold off on it. But this door here is where we were told to go, because this is Fion's room. And we have the key to get in here now. Okay, now inside this room you can search all of this. And take any of the things in here. Because we have access and we've gotten the key, that opens this up. The other thing that we're going to start finding in all of these is bars of soap. Hooray! Bars of soap. Oh, that's a cool interaction. You get sunlight reflecting off of the surface here if you face right. Sunlight is streaming in through the window, and that's actually impressive. Sorry, little things like that. But soap bars, using this will clean off dirt, blood, and face paint, and will remove conditions that make you smell. So we now have a way to... there have been other ways. You could throw water at each other and get rid of this stuff. We now have a way to get rid of those things whenever we want as well. So you only need one of those. It doesn't consume it when you use it. So you're always going to have one sitting in your inventory to use if you would like. But that is the way to get rid of all the annoying blood and all that sort of stuff. Now, you do have some interesting sets of clothes in here, which you can try out.
Might be useful.
Okay, and then on the table we have Fion's journal. Okay, he's getting worse, the whispers. I know he's hiding something, and the others in the flop house know it too. Okay, so that updated the quest. And now maybe we'll find answers in the flop house. We've passed the flop house previously in our explorations, and we're going to head over there. There is a dog collar here on the table.
If you had any bargaining.
Just one more fun interaction in this game. But the flop house is here. We can make our way out of Sharessa's Caress, or we can just fast travel to the south span here. And the flop house is right across the street.
We are not staying in a brothel.
Listen, it's got private rooms, music, and all-round pleasant folks.
Okay, this is Frago's flop house. There are some people that we can have interactions with in here.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
Nothing happened. Sir, good, sir. Give me 3 days and... Oh, apologies. Thought you were someone else. Greetings, so forth, so on.
Okay, now here we have an option. I'm looking for a killer, a dwarf dressed in red. Not entirely sure he's a dwarf, though.
Ffion, one of Mamselle's girls, who laughs like a star's twinkle. Not seen her for a 10-day. 10 days and 4 bells, to be precise. Not that I'm counting. Missing? I hadn't thought her missing, just not here. Or elsewhere. Oh, I suppose that's like missing, but with extra words. You don't suppose the murderer who's on the loose got hold of her? Oh, goodness, no. It's too horrible to imagine. How dare you? Accusing an upstanding citizen like me of being a dwarf? I'm a halfling, you oaf!
Also has...
Okay, and now over here we have Drim and Rosanna.
The runaway is still missing after all. Nothing happens until he's found. And if a patron confuses me for a member of staff,
I'd probably break his nose.
Bloody ages we spent hiking from Murren, and they won't let us in the city proper. Bollocks. We're adventurous, damn it. The bridge god chatted some shite about a coronation. Couldn't really make head nor tail of it.
The flop house. It has plenty of...
Come to Baldur's Gate, he said. Adventurers get welcomed as heroes, he said. Poxy Drim and his bleeding notions.
And then over here in the corner, you have Traveler Grishka.
Word to the wise. Give that ill-mated temple a wide berth. Rude buggers. Certainly not bringing my trade there again. Let me show you.
Okay, Traveler Grishka is a trader here, going to be selling some potions. The most useful one is the Superior Elixir of Arcane Cultivation, which lets you gain an additional level 3 spell slot. However, they do also have some additional crafting supplies that you'll be able to utilize, various things. Not very important that you have this, except it is a very reliable source of healing potions. So if you are low on these, or just to pick up more potions of superior healing, this is a great place to do it. So this is one of those places where I normally come in here, respec, give her the gold to up her attitude, and then I start buying the potions of superior healing and do partial rests and come back and do it again. You can get these for 160 gold for 5 of them, I believe, is the final number. Again, with a +9 persuasion. I believe it comes up to be, well, it might be 140. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but you can get these 5 really, really cheap if you up her attitude up to 100.
Pleasure doing business.
Okay, so we do have another person here.
Bloomin' hell, you look famished. I've got some victuals that'll warm you right up.
Ffion. Poor lass. Works her arse off for the mumsel, but don't get much in return. Not seen her mug for a carp's age. I figure she'd gone up the road while the going was good. Killer on the loose, cult army marching wee way. Been thinking I might scarp her too. Have a skeg at these.
So again, another place to buy camp supplies and some high camp supply counts for fairly low amounts of gold in some of these cases. So again, more places if you're
That
short
should do ya.
to be able to pick them up. So we're going to head upstairs. And we want to have Astarion with us when we go up here. Again, our quest line to investigate the flop house for Ffion is upstairs. Hey, the first thing that we want to do is notice here. We have Pale Petrus and Deliria.
We should go. I do not want to face the Master if we're late for his Black Mass.
Soon, sister. I only need one more mark.
We have enough for the Master. No more are needed.
It's not for the Master, it's for me. I spent 100 years eating rats and dogs, but soon I'll be able to feast. I want someone there, ready for me. And once the Mass is done and our Lord grants us freedom, I can celebrate by drinking them dry.
Cazador promised you your freedom, and you believed him? Ha! You were never burdened with intelligence, Petras. But your load seems especially light these days.
Astarion! It cannot be.
Oh, that's no way to welcome back a brother, doll. Didn't you miss me?
Why would you come back? You got out. You were free.
Isn't it obvious, sister? He wants to ascend with the rest of us. He heard about the ritual and the power our master will grant us, so he came back with his tail between his legs, hoping all would be forgiven.
You always were an idiot, Petras. Is he hiding? Tell me!
Brother! Please!
Tell me what I need to know, or I swear you'll burn!
The Master is preparing the Black Mass beneath his palace. There's a defiled chapel. It was hidden there the entire time, hidden from us all.
I'm going to stop Cazador.
What the hell's happened to you, Astarion? What are you?
I'm more than what I was. And I'm not afraid of anything anymore. The sun can't harm me. Cazador can't compel me. I'm the only person who can stop him. Now go, before I change my mind about roasting you, brother.
This isn't over, Astarion.
Poor fools. They actually think Cazador will save them. Yes, and they'll be trembling in fear when they tell him. They're no threat to us. And they have no choice but to do Cazador's bidding. I pity them. Worst of all, they don't know their fate's already set. They're doomed. The only question is whether their lives will be sacrificed to a monster like Cazador, or serve a greater purpose. 7 sigils on 7 spawn. And Cazador has the other 6. We have to face him. and take that power for ourselves. Trust me, I'd rather slaughter someone else's family, but if that's what it takes. And it's not like their sweet innocence. They brought Cazador just as many victims as I did. You're not getting sentimental, are you? I thought you were with me on this. I knew I was right about you. You're a true friend. And now we know he's skulking beneath his palace. We can take the hunt to Cazador. All right, let's go. This place stinks of rat blood and despair.
Okay, a couple of important things to realize there. One, if you have somebody who has a light effect that is going, the Nerolna glowing effect will count. And I forgot about this when I came up. If they get too close, then both of them will disappear because of daylight-based effect. Lathander's light also counts toward this. You get close, they'll disappear, and you'll see a comment made like, "What was that? Something just disappeared." And you'll have this you'll have another opportunity for this conversation later on. But this is an amazing cutscene to watch. It's the first time I've actually done it where Astarion had blood all over him, and it just makes it even better to watch. Astarion is not messing around here. He's done playing. He is laser focused on what's going to happen here, and he is going to do whatever it takes to make this work. So again, you can see the quest marker still above us. There is a door here where again you can find another soap bar that you can steal in this case, but we do have a ladder over here. Okay, and for this, you can explore this center room here. All of this is going to be again marked as steel. Okay, you can see that the wardrobe has a lock icon over the top of it.
Shapeshifter's key unlocks the door. Interesting.
Okay, this was the usage of the flowery key. The flowery key led us through these doors into this room.
This ought to be good.
Got a long road ahead.
Okay, so I failed the perception check.
Whatever it takes.
Okay. Rolled a 2. Rolled a 6. Okay, can we get just a slightly average roll out of this place?
Oh, I have the magic touch.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
Let me guess, you need something.
Watch your back. Tread carefully.
Oh, what do you know? Finally. Okay, so here is some blood on the floor. Clicking on the blood.
Notice some blood has pooled on the wooden floor.
Brings up a couple of checks here. Now, I have a ranger check. But I also have an investigation check. I have investigation proficiency with Astarion.
You notice the blood's source. A body hidden under the bed.
Okay, and that gives us access to the body, and now you see it's Ffion's body.
No one back home will ever believe this.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Landlord. Contraband storage. Murdered by my son.
It's to be expected. Some families just don't get along.
Dwarf, like me, dresses in red. Found his secret. My sweet boy. Why? Killed folk slowly. He liked it.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so now you learn that Ffion was killed by who she thinks was her son, a dwarf dressed in red, which again was the doppelganger that we killed in the tunnels underneath the open hand temple. So she thought it was her son that killed her. She had found out that her quote-unquote son was killing people and enjoying it, and then he killed her for finding that out. So you're starting to learn here that the whole thing is really just a ballast plot, that somebody is going around and killing all of these people for a particular reason. Okay, and here's Fion's key.
I know this key. It's identical to the one held by that corpse in the tunnels.
Okay, so it's the same as the flowery key, and we can do some searching in here. So pouch up here, I think we probably already have all the pouches we need. But the desk, and here they have a bloodstained note. Okay, 2 hands now, 2 hands, 2 of them more needed. Not enough, must cover myself in glory to be covered in blood. More. Okay, so somebody's obviously relishing in this whole death of innocence type of thing. And then down here we have a torn parchment. So take the list, find the blank, and make them offerings in his name. Bring their blank NDS to the try something prove your worth. Become something of the highest accord. This is going to tie in later with something else, and a couple of minor spoilers. Bring their hands to the tribunal to prove your worth. And again, we're going to find more about that later on as we get deeper into what happens with Orin.
These tunnels were full of shapeshifters. Father Lorgan's name is written here too.
Okay, so this is plans of the temple that has the underground layout of the tunnels on it. And last, there's a quest item here, the blood-stained parchment. Okay, so here we learn about the Dreadlord's Tribunal. They must enter the Temple of Baal, must slay the targets on this list, and frame the corpse as a murder by the Cult of the Absolute. Bring the victim's hand as proof of the killing. And it lists all of the killings that have been done. And the future killings that they were going to do. So, Duke Stelmane, Father Lorgan, Dribbles the Clown, Alexander Rainforest, who we haven't gotten to yet, that's in the lower city, Frank Peartree, again, in the lower city. All people that we haven't, or that we have seen interaction, or had interactions with their deaths already. But it gives you an idea of who's next on the list. And you're going to learn more about this as we get into the lower city. Okay, and that's going to advance and or give us a bunch of quests. So we need to go back and talk to Amira. It advances the Open Hand Temple murder quest, because we know that Father Lorgan was murdered by a Baalist and was framing a refugee for it. Okay, so we should warn someone about this. And that also advances a couple of things in Get Orin's Netherstone. So investigate the murders. Okay, we should show Investigator Valeria. Investigator Valeria we saw in Sharessa's Caress, so we're going to head back there and talk to her, and then impress the Myrtle Tribunal. So we found a list of people. If we kill 2 targets and bring a severed hand as proof, we can stand before the Murder Tribunal and enter the Temple of Baal. This is a very, very important thing for the Dark Urge character. It is of importance for us, obviously, listed as a quest under Get Orin's Netherstone, and we'll be going through more of that later. We also did advance the Pale Elf because we met Deliria and Petrus, and they revealed that there's a chapel underneath Cazador's palace that we're going to have to investigate. So for the rest of it, there are just a couple other things that we can search, and you're going to find the Scarlet Leather Armor here. This is light armor that gives you a +1 bonus to stealth checks. Not something that's incredibly important at where we are in the game, but certainly can be sold.
No traps, please.
Okay, and a scroll of Chromatic Orb. And a Traveler's Chest here in the corner, with a couple of potions in it, one of them being Wyvern Toxin, which is really nice to have. Some good crafting ingredients for various elixirs here. And I think that's it, other than some camp supplies up here on the table. The ghastly bottles don't do anything that I'm aware of. Okay, now you can head back out here into the main room again and head back down the ladder.
Hear me out. Sharessa's Caress also has rules.
So we're going to head back to Sharessa's Caress.
And all-round pleasant folks, from what I've heard.
And we're going to report to the Mamzelle here.
Don't take it. Your pleasure is mine, sweeting. Murdered! Ye gods, the poor thing! Oh, by the mother of cats, I pray she didn't suffer. I'll miss that face. Else, the regulars will miss her more. They swarmed her like honeybees at the hive. Oh, Losing Ffion slashed a big hole in my coin purse. I should get to replacing her. I have little coin, but I offer sin in abundance. Talk with the Drow twins in the tap room. They're legends among the regulars, almost myths. Tell them they're your gift from the Mamselle, and let them show you why. Anything else on your mind, sweeting?
Okay, and that is an added benefit of finishing the Find the Stern Librarian quest, is that now you do not have to pay for your time with the Drow twins who are here. Now there's something else we want to do here other than the Drow twins who are over here, Soren and Nim, because right here is Arfur. Now remember Arfur, we went into the basement of his house and found the explosives that he was making for the toys, so we definitely need to confront him about this.
Nine hells! You followed me all the way here? What could you possibly want with me now? What? How? Nine hells? Whatever you think you know, I'm sure some gold would help you to forget. Please don't. What do you want from me? It's not my fault. I was forced to do this. Framed even. They would have killed me if I refused to rig the toys. And they're definitely going to kill me now. I can't tell you. I won't tell you.
Okay, now here you're going to get an intimidation option for this. If you've searched everything inside of Philogir's Flophouse, then you'll learn that he's doing this in concert with Gortash, and there will be another option that you can do this, do with here. But I'm going to go with the intimidation option here. Well, there's our first one, chat. I do have full inspirations. Please, give me a second one. Please, let's just repeat this. I roll a nat 1, and then I roll a 28 on my next roll.
All right. Just don't hurt me. The teddy bears were an experiment. My greatest invention. A clever little device in their chest allows them to speak. But there's more. Smoke powder inside the device. I collect packages from Philogir's fireworks in the lower city and stuff the bears with it. Not because I want to, because I have to. Otherwise, they'll kill me. I don't know who's in charge, but it starts at the fireworks shop. That's where the packages come from. Go there. Tell them Uncle Philogir sent you, and they'll show you the smoke powder. Lots of it. There. I told you what you wanted to know. Now, will you let me go?
His plea comes with an offering. A pass granting you access to the lower city.
Here, take it, all of it. I don't care. You'll never see me again, I promise.
Okay, so a couple of important things happened there. We got our inspiration back, thankfully. We also got a coronation pass. And we'll see if one more thing pops up. It doesn't. Okay. So, investigate the suspicious toys. We need to go to Falogir's fireworks in the lower city. If you've already been to Falogir's fireworks, like I said, then you're going to know that this whole thing is, like I say, being done in concert with Gortash. Because you can get into the lower city without getting this coronation pass. And we're going to look at another way to do that right now. Okay? And again, we're going to skip the twins for now.
You can stare as much as you like.
Remember our vow to keep one another safe.
Enjoy the fiddling. Throw a few coins our way and let us play on into the night.
If you have a bard here, your interactions with Monsieur Chapeau, Mr. Hat, by the way, in French, are going to be a little different and quite a bit funny. So here you can see we also have a quest marker up here because Valeria is up here on the top.
Another case closed, another bottle open. Huzzah to Valeria! Hang on a tick. I recognize that face. You were talking to Yanis after I left the temple. I'll bet she's put you up to something. Why must you busybodies insist on interrupting a perfectly good night? I know that look. You remind me of Devella. Fine. If you doubt my conclusions, out with it. What have you found? A Baal plot. You as well? Devella's been harping on about Baal for months. Fancies herself something of an expert. I assumed it was just a bunch of conspiracy codswallop and fear-mongering. But she's been unusually insistent about this one, even for her. Fine. I'll bite. What's your theory? No need to wave documents at me. I'm already drowning in paperwork as it is. Constable Devella is going to be a real pain in the trunk about this. Since you seem to be on an obnoxiously similar wavelength, why don't you seek her out? She'll be at the Elf Song Tavern. Show her the list, and I'll stay and inform the Fist here. Oh, and you'll need this pass. It'll give you access to the lower city. Well, what are you waiting for? You've a bloody conspiracy to solve. Move!
Okay, and that is going to give you the Investigator's Pass into the lower city. So again, if you have not confronted Arfur yet, you now have another way to get into the lower pass. You have the lower city pass and you have the Coronation admission pass, both of which will work to get you through Worm's Rock Fortress into the lower city. Now, you're going to have an opportunity to meet Valeria again. Valeria is probably the single most annoying character in this game, and you're going to have a chance here to decide something about Valeria, and these interactions that you're getting make it very easy for you to actually choose certain options concerning Valeria. So here we still have a deal with the devil quest. Raphael is here, up at the top of Sharess's caress, and we need to go to camp and bring back Lae'zel. Okay, looks like Will wants to talk to us as well.
Men, women, children, all barred from entry. A damn travesty. A decade ago, Baldur's Gate would have welcomed any and everyone seeking refuge. Who would take in these souls, if not the Jewel of Baldurin? As long as Gortash is in charge, they'll be left shivering at the gates. All part of the plan, of course. Step 1. Create an army and order it to march on the city. Step 2. Shut the gates in the name of security. Step 3. Bask in the applause. Gortash hasn't made Baldur's Gate safe. He's made it a prison. And when his army breaks through, the people will have nowhere to run. To make this city a safe haven, we'll need to bathe Gortash and his allies in their own blood. I met her twice. The first time, I was a boy of 7 or 8, at a banquet in the Flaming Fist's honor. One look and I was smitten. Chestnut hair that flowed behind her like willow fronds, as she floated from one room to the next as if carried by clouds. The second time, Stelmane was different. Even with the aid of a cane, each step she took was a struggle. Every word she spoke took great physical effort. A stroke victim? I asked Father later. No, he said. A stroke survivor. I couldn't say. But think about this. My father was tadpoled. Stelmane is dead. The people are frightened and the council's in disarray. To exert control, you must first sow chaos. A tyrant's strategy, as Father would say. These murders aren't random acts. Someone powerful is guiding the killer's hand, and the city is made weaker for it.
Okay, so let's get... There she is.
Orin be damned. Her bloody fingerprints are all over this city. Make space, and my might is yours. Good. Our victory is most certain.
Now we need to level her up, but I'm not really interested in doing that. I'm not going to be getting into a fight with her during this, so I just need to have her in the party with me. I'm interested to see how she's outfitted. Okay, yeah, with nothing. So let's leave camp here.
Feed if you must, Astarion.
Sharess's caress isn't just
And again, I do want to make sure that her helmet is hidden during dialogues. We're going to go back into Sharess's caress and head back up to the upper floor. Okay, so out here again we have this second room down here that has our quest marker in it.
but what I know.
You must hear me, devil. I will do whatever it takes, give you anything you ask.
There is only one thing in this world that I desire. You do not have it, and you never will.
You must help me, Raphael, for the sake of my people.
Hush now, Voss. These guests may not know it yet, but they want the same thing that you do. And unlike you, they have something of value to offer in return.
Whatever you discuss with this devil, I must hear of it. Find me below in the tap room, once you're loosed from his claws.
I'm glad you came. Not to my door, not yet, but to the final reckoning. One more thing before we begin, though.
For the first time since the Nautiloid, your mind is clear. It's unsettling.
I gave you back your privacy by shutting that illithid in your pocket out of your mind. It can't hear us. I brought you here because I'm true to my word, and I can make all of this tadpole business go away, which means you and your lovely friends can remain blessedly free of tentacles. Unless some have already sprouted in places I can't see. Let us speak plain. I'll admit, you've impressed me. I wasn't sure you'd make it this far, but no matter how far you come, you're still on the road to ruin. A road that leads directly to a confrontation with the Elder Brain. At best, it will kill you, and everyone else in this city. At worst, it will assimilate you, and you won't have enough free will left to even wish you were dead. You have the key to destroying it in the palm of your hand, though. In a manner of speaking. But it's the one inside the prison that you need, not the illithid, the Gith. I can give you the means to break him free. The Orphic Hammer. An artifact capable of shattering the chains that hold Prince Orpheus is held securely in my House of Hope, even now. Such an eager little pup. Surely you realize there is an exchange to be made. You scratch my back, I scratch your parasite. Power. You free Orpheus, and in doing so save the city, the Sword Coast, perhaps the whole world, and your own precious skin too. And you give me the crown that dominates the Elder Brain.
Handing that crown to this devil will be like feeding gunpowder to a lava worm. Agree to nothing.
Power. Ancient and full of wonder. I have craved it ever since the arch-wizard Carsus created it, long centuries ago. and brought doom to the Empire of Netheril. That was the great age of humanity, and Netheril's flying sky cities were the apex of civilization. I was there the day it all fell apart. Entire cities plummeted from the sky like angels with broken wings. The screams, oh, the screams. Hundreds of thousands of people watching in horror as the ground came up to meet them. It was not a happy meeting, and Karsus was responsible. Not driven by malice, but by ambition. He forged a crown imbued with all the powers of magic. A crown that would make any who wore it a god. Men cannot contain so much power. The crown destroyed its creator, and his empire fell with him. Karsus's folly, the bards and scholars call it. I call it hope. The hope of creating a better world, and the perils of unchecked hubris. I knew then that the folly of mortals could be the triumph of devils, and that I could use that crown to unite the Nine under one Archdevil Supreme. Me. The Hells require order to function. It is what separates us from mortals and demons. With the crown, I would impose perfect order, unity, efficiency, control. My kingdom would control its borders and stay within them. Hidden. The archdevil Mephistopheles snatched up the crown and squirreled it away in one of his vaults. He is not more than a frigid archivist. So much power and potential kept inert. He made a miracle into a museum piece. I raged. But only for a decade or so. Then I waited, ever watching for more than 1,000 years, for a mistake, a mishap, a misadventure. And these chosen, who have caused you so much trouble accidentally, did me a favor. They brought the crown back into play. Yes, it does. Especially when I see what a bloody mess they've made of their whole scheme. They must have raided Mephistopheles' vault. Impressive, I must admit. But they'll be dead soon. If you don't kill them, the Elder Brain will. It doesn't have feelings in the way you'd understand them. But it seems rather angry. It is inevitable. When you destroy the brain, and you will because you must, the crown will be yours for the taking. And when that moment comes, you give the crown to me. In exchange, I give you the hammer now.
A simple transaction, it seems, but it's more than that. He's offering you an alternative to the mind flayer in your head. Take Raphael's deal and you could free Orpheus. With Orpheus free, you would have no need to rely on the Emperor. But there's no guarantee that Orpheus would be on your side. And if you take the deal, you'll have to fulfill it. You'll have to deliver the crown of Karsus to the devil himself. He claims his ambition is to unite the Hells, but can he be trusted to stop there? Do you trust him more than you trust the Emperor?
Okay, so here is a major turn in how this goes. There are basically two different pathways that have some twists and turns to them. So first, you can either take the deal. If you take the deal, he's going to give you Orpheus's hammer. You are going to immediately, as a group, feel regret for signing a deal with him. And it's going to start another quest where you can go through some steps to get out of that deal. That deal is, or doing that quest is fairly long and fairly convoluted, but certainly doable, and it leads you to a lot of the same places that you're going to be going to anyway. If you do escape the deal, you're going to have a confrontation with Raphael at the end of it, and that's going to lead to the combat with him. The other benefit of taking the deal is that he's going to give you the Orphic hammer right now. And if he does, you can show that to Kith'rak Voss, who is right outside. And Kith'rak Voss will give you the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane right now. The Silver Sword of the Astral Plane is a legendary item. It's for a Githyanki character. It is the best great sword in the game. And this is a way to acquire it now, as opposed to through a much more difficult way now as well. The other option is to not take the deal here. Now, if you don't take the deal, then Voss is going to leave, and you'll be able to encounter him later. But if you want to deal with freeing Orpheus, you're going to have to get the Orphic hammer from Raphael's house, the House of Hope. And that's the same place that you're going to be going to escape the deal as well. So either way, this quest with Orpheus is going to lead you to the House of Hope and a confrontation with Raphael. The main difference is, again, the twists and turns for each one of those two quests set aside. The main difference is getting the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane. You can get it now by signing the deal. You can also get it now by not signing the deal and then going out and lying to Kith'rak Voss about it. Now, the conversation with Kith'rak Voss, I believe you need to pass like a DC 30 deception check to make that work. So it's pretty hard. But you can get it from him that way as well. So a couple of different ways to go about this. I don't really care that much about the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane, but I honestly want to play out the escape the deal portion of this more than I do anything else. It's a really interesting, like I say, set of twists and turns that leads you into a confrontation with Raphael rather than just breaking into his house to try and steal the Orphic hammer, which again is going to lead to a confrontation with him. So I think I'm going to agree to the deal this time, and then deal with the consequences of that after. But one way or another, I'm not giving him the Crown of Karsus. If you do, you're going to find out very quickly that he doesn't want to just unite the Hells. He wants to take over everything, starting with the 9 Hells. So giving him the Crown of Karsus is just dumb, and you're not going to do it.
Right here, you'll find everything is in order. The moment I have your signature, you will have the means to free Orpheus. The hammer. You guarantee the crown will be mine once the brain is defeated, and I swear that I will never use the crown to dominate a mortal. I will come to collect. If you refuse to give me the crown, I collect your souls instead. And then we all gather in the House of Hope. Me dressed in my finest silks, you skinless, hanging from a hook to watch as your world dies.
Oh, he's such a great character.
Perfect. One more rhyme, for old time's sake. The master was slain within his own house. They dined on him both, the cat and the mouse. The hammer is yours. You will find yourself in Orpheus's presence before the end comes. When you do, shatter the chains that hold him. Be sure to keep the hammer safe. Until then, your survival depends on it. And I'll keep your contract safe in my House of Hope. I'll be seeing you, and when I do, we dine.
Wherever this House of Hope is, we need to go there immediately and destroy that contract. We must speak with Carilla. If anyone knows the way, it will be her.
Okay, so that is going to immediately put into our inventory the Orphic hammer. So it's a legendary item. You have advantage on saving throws against spells. It is a +3 weapon enchantment. It's a war hammer, so it's versatile. You can use it with a shield single-handed if you want. As a class action, every turn, it refreshes every turn. You can do Unshackling Strike. So you smite the magical bonds, keeping a creature restrained, paralyzed, and stunned, freeing it. So if you ever get a character who is knocked out of the fight, hold person, that sort of stuff, you can use a class action to hit them with the hammer, and it will bring them out of that. Can be, quite useful as a class action to have available to you. Again, fairly situational and that sort of stuff. But can be used as a physical weapon if you would like. I'm going to just kind of move some of these things around just to free up that space. And now I'm going to head or talk to Lae'zel here.
I'd sooner have imagined shattering a planet with my bare fist than taking a deal with a devil. But we shouldn't regret the bargain, not for one instant. Raphael can have his crown, if it means breaking Prince Orpheus free. The Emperor can't shut us out forever. The closer the Elder Brain, the closer we come to facing Orpheus in his own prison. Now, to the Shares's Caress taproom. We must tell Voss the news.
And to Gale.
You'll have to forgive me, but I'm struggling to understand why you'd agree to just hand over the crown. Especially for a bloody hammer. I'm glad to hear it. But you realize we can't just tell him we changed our minds. For now, our plan must remain the same. We go to Sorcerer's Sundries and learn about that crown. And pray the devil doesn't get there first.
Alright, so we're going to head back downstairs and talk to Voss.
Breathe deep and move.
Hey Solo, welcome to the stream. Sorry, I was kind of involved doing some explanations here.
I thought I'd lost you. Something was blocking me from hearing your thoughts. Me too. It's concerning that something could come between us like that. especially when we are so close to the Elder Brain. Do you have any idea what it was?
Okay, we can say it was Raphael, or we have a deception check that we can make. Okay, pretty high DC here. Okay, we're gonna have to roll high to get it. I think I'm full on inspirations. I am, so I'll use one more. But I'm not too worried about this. Boy, all we really need to do is maybe like roll a 12 and get lucky with guidance. Let's see, I know we're going to get another inspiration there. And then another one there. I said I'm not worried, but let me use one more. We just need to roll above average here. Great. Not going to waste any more. Yeah, because see, there was the 4 that we got from guidance. We just needed to roll somewhere around a 12 on that.
A blatant lie. You're trying to deceive me. But why? Someone must have intervened. Someone you don't want me to know about.
You feel the touch of the Emperor's mind peeling at the edge of yours, trying to gain access. And succeeding.
Raphael. Of course. I should have known the devil would come sniffing. The stench of impending chaos is irresistible to them. And what did he want with you? I see.
Again, the Emperor pries at the boundaries of your thoughts. Invasive. Curious.
That is a fair request.
You feel its presence withdrawing from the fringes of your awareness.
I shall respect your privacy on this occasion. But know that if you have jeopardized our mutual project, I will be forced to reconsider our alliance. Now come. We have an Elder Brain to destroy.
Okay, so we're going to head down quickly to the lower floor. And here is Voss.
Voss, friend to the Comet.
Lae'zel of Kalir, warrior of warriors. Tell me you took the Devil's deal. Tell me you will free Gith's heir.
Okay, here's the deception check I was talking about. And this is a DC 30 deception check. You can prep for this in a few different ways. If you have a bard in your party, this is a great place to do it. Especially if you have deception expertise. You're going to gain a huge amount from proficiency expertise. You're going to gain a big number from charisma. You're going to have favorable beginnings at this point to help you with that check. And you may also have your enhance ability spell, which can give you advantage on that check. So if you have a bard, it's not easy, but it's much easier to be able to pass the deception check. And then you don't have to worry about the side quest to break the deal. If you're really, really interested in getting the sword, the silver sword. But we're going to show him the hammer.
So you made the deal with Raphael, after all. Fool.
The Prince of the Comet is not dead. The Prince of the Comet will come again. The Prince of the Comet will liberate us from the Lich Queen's tyranny. Can it be? Will the mighty Prince Orpheus soon illuminate the astral plane?
Gith's son will soon ride against Vlaakith, Voss, and I will follow him into battle.
And you will wield the greatest gift Mother Gith ever granted her dauntless children.
A silver sword. I will carry it for the honor of Gith, the great liberator, and her unforgotten son.
Istik, now that you have the hammer, you must find a way to enter the astral prism. Once inside, smash Orpheus's bonds. His cry will shake the plains, and I will fly to your aid. The Prince of the Comet will sear the heavens again. Let the Lich Queen tremble.
Think again. I will not permit your entry.
Questions, Istik? You seem to be lost in thought. The Prince of the Comet aches for Githyanki liberation more than he abhors Gale. He might seethe when you free him. He might gnash his teeth and slander your name. But he will see reason. I promise you. Yes, but you will meet this challenge, as you've met so many others.
And there it is. So, you now have the Silver Sword of the Astral Plane available to you. Just quickly about this. Okay, we'll accept it first. Okay, so first of all, it's a +3 greatsword. It comes with the Soul Breaker weapon action, the same as the other Githyanki greatsword. So you're going to possibly stun them when you make this attack. When wielded by a Githyanki, the weapon deals an additional 1d6 psychic damage. Again, 1d6 additional damage is fairly rare. You don't find it on hardly any weapons. That's why the 1d6 on the Chargebound Warhammer is so rare, as well as the 1d6 on the Light of Creation. It's fairly rare that you see 1d6. It's far more common to see 1d4. A Githyanki holding this weapon has advantage on all of your spell casting saving throws. They are resistant to psychic damage and cannot be charmed. When you're fighting Mind Flayers, all of those things there are going to mean that whoever wields this is going to be incredibly hard to disable by the Mind Flayers. Now, we have obviously sacrificed our relationship with the Emperor here. If you don't want to go down the entire Orpheus questline, then you can avoid all of this. And you can just side with the Emperor up until you get to a certain point where you decide you don't want to side with him anymore. But that's not going to free Orpheus. Orpheus is another side option to dealing with the Astral Prism and that sort of stuff. So you don't have to go down this way if you don't want to. However, we are going to, and this is going to go to Lae'zel, and that is just meaningful for her from a role-playing perspective. But yeah, it is a very, very powerful greatsword to have for her. You can see it's doing 10 to 25 without any damage boosters of any type with her, and they're very easy to stack up damage boosts on top of that to get it up into some really, really high numbers.
Looking ahead.
Since I was old enough to hold a blade, I've dreamt of wielding a silver sword. The swords cleave both meat and mind, body and brain. To swing one, mesmerizing. To be slain by one, agonizing. Everyone I bleed with the sword will be my tribute to Prince Orpheus.
Okay, we are still wearing the warped headband of intellect. It's going to be a fairly low chance. And we're not going to spend any inspiration on this. Got some really forgettable rolls here in the past 10 minutes.
Lae'zel gave a thorough description. You can't think of more you would add.
Certainly not, or the Prince's honor guard would have already fractured his prison. To break Orpheus free, we will need the Orphic hammer. A Kith'rak silver sword is more than a weapon. It is an extension of your will, an entire limb unto itself. You merely need to think strike, and it strikes. The sword carves the correct path, and carries your arm with it. The ancient slates tell us that each sword holds a fragment of the living gate, a flesh portal made from the stuffs of nightmare. The silver injures the body, the gate's flesh injures the mind, a formidable weapon against Gale.
Okay, so yeah, failed all of those passive checks. Okay, so that brings us to a great stopping point here. We did advance or start a bunch of quests. So, we now need to find Gauntlet de Vela in the Elf Song Tavern in the Lower City. A very, very famous place from the Forgotten Realms lore to continue to investigate the murders. And then we have either fulfill the deal or escape the deal with Raphael. And there are two different ways to go about doing it. We are not going to fulfill this deal. We are definitely going to escape it. And that's going to mean that we need to find a way to do that. And then we also are going to go down the path of freeing Orpheus. So the next time we're in the Astral Prism, we're going to free Orpheus. Lae'zel's obviously very happy about the fact that we've done this. And Kith'rak Voss has left to gather his allies. He's in the Lower City now. We can meet up with him a little bit later. And Gale also told us he has no intention of wanting to give the crown of Karsus to Raphael in exchange for anything. But that did solve the Open Hand Temple Murders quest and help Kith'rak Voss quest. So now we're going to be continuing on next week into the center here, into Worm's Rock Fortress. There's a few different ways for us to get there. There's a few different things that we want to do while we are there. And that's going to be a very important part of the main quest line. We are going to be not pursuing the main quest line there, per se. Because killing Gortash now is going to have a very negative effect on the overall city. And we'll explain that more when we get into next week. So, again, as always, thank you everybody for being here. As always, I really enjoy the interactions with my chat. And without all of you and your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.
That'll be